called in? Bob?
I'm told that Mr. Corbett may call in.
Okay. Well, let's get this underway. We're a little late. Apparently we had Mr. Corbett thinking about calling in, but we didn't have a setup in advance, so that was part of our delay. We'll start with a call to the public. Andrea has requested that if you want to speak, you state your name clearly so she can ascribe your comments to the right name. Anybody have anything to say?
I do.
Damn it.
Joseph Ernest Gomez, Yuma Airport Watchdog. Some months back, my colleague, Mr. Ken Scott, who's joined us today, made a request to this board to have a document made available that was seemingly disappeared from the airport website. A number of requests were made that were not acted upon. A formal request in writing was recently done. It's my understanding that Mr. Benish interacted with that. That document has now been made available. I'd like to thank Mr. Benish for his efforts in doing as much. And one thing in particular that's worthy of mention here, in the course of making these requests, Mr. Williams had indicated that a formal document request should be undertaken at the Yuma Airport website with appropriate fees paid for such request. And in the multitude of litigation that's been underway here, as we're all aware of, Mr. Scott Freeman had done a similar request, and I would just like the record to state that we'd like to know if Mr. Freeman was also subject to the same sort of request by Mr. Williams in terms of document disclosure for the public. Second thing here, I'm familiar with the document that was sent to Mr. Ewing this week surrounding his aircraft. It's my understanding, based on public record from the airport website, that Mr. Ewing's lease for his aircraft that he took back from Luxair in the course of the Luxair activity ran out and expired December 31. Those aircraft are sitting on an FAA public ramp where this airport receives public funding. Mr. Ewing is paying a fee for those aircraft to be parked here. In a survey of the ramp, I noticed at a minimum of 10 aircraft that have not moved that are languishing on the airfield. November 476 Romeo Bravo, November 71718, November 91322, November 60205, November 25332, November 3186 Juliet, November 8773 Charlie, November 3870 Delta, November 45258, November 2186 X-Ray, November 2478 Charlie, and November 150 Hotel Pop. These aircraft are not currently paying a fee and are not moving, kind of in a similar situation as Mr. Ewing. So I'm kind of trying to wrap my arms around why Mr. Ewing would receive a letter. He's been paying his fees, and I'd just like to know at a later time what type of parameters these other aircraft owners are being subjected to in terms of their aircraft that are considered non-flyable and non-flying. Let's see here. I understand by looking at the agenda today that the Customs and Border Protection are on the agenda for something surrounding flow fees for self-fueling. As a taxpayer, I'm kind of trying to understand why this airport authority would insert themselves into forcing a government entity where to buy their fuel. I'm certainly not privy as to why Customs and Border Protection is electing to get their fuel, whether it be Sellers Petroleum, any entity. I just find it a little bit unusual in light of the fact that this entity is spending $20,000 a month to this airport authority, that for some reason the airport would want to bring before this board some sort of subject matter that would surround them, the way they get their fuel and how much they pay for it. And I appreciate the time for letting me speak, and that's all I've got today. Thank you.
Anyone else? Sure. Okay,